What's up guys? Today we're going to be chatting about top rated makeup that nobody is talking about, and I'm not really sure why, but all of these products get between 4 and 5 stars on various different websites. So I wanted to just bring them to the forefront again. Some of these are older products, which is probably why they're not getting talked about as much. So they just haven't been getting the hype that I think they deserve. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. The first product is the Juvia's Place Blush Duos. So these retail for $18. You're getting 2 blushes in here, so it's really like around $9 each. I have volume 2, but I've heard that volume 4, which is brighter pinks, the lighter color, is supposed to be a dupe for the Dior Rosy Glow blush that everybody's talking about. I picked this one initially. I don't think that other one was out just yet because I liked the kind of warm terracotta shade on the top and then this really soft peachy pink on the bottom. I just felt like they were 2 very different shades, so I could do a lot with it, either use them singly or mix them together for a different color. And these get a 4.8 out of 5 stars on the Ulta website. People love these. One review says, great palettes with amazing pigment. The bottom color in volume 4 is the perfect dupe to the Too Faced Cloud Crush Blurring Blush in Candy Clouds. Volume 5 is so rich, these blushes will last a long time because a little goes a long way. Another one says, beats the Dior blush by a mile. This is the most pigmented blush I've ever seen. It is so beautiful, I'm lost for words. Y'all run out and buy this over the Dior blush, and for half the price you get 2 stunning pinks. So people are just raving about these. There are hardly any negative reviews, and I have to agree, the formula on these is fantastic. They really are so pigmented. A little bit goes a long way. These are going to last you forever, and the powder just feels so velvety and soft, and it blends out on your cheeks really nicely. I think they're incredibly long lasting for a powder blush. I think these definitely deserve more hype. They're amazing. Next up we have the Lottie London Super Fake False Lash Effect Mascara. This is $7.95 and it's supposed to be a really lengthening formula. I think I first heard about this from Kelly Gooch. It was somebody here on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it was her, and that made me want to buy it. And right now this has 4.2 out of 5 stars on the Ulta website. Unfortunately, all of the reviews are those paid promotion reviews, so I don't know quite how much we can trust them. I'd like to think that even if people are getting them for free, they're still leaving a positive review or a negative review depending on their experience, but I feel like we kind of have to take these with a grain of salt. But this one says, this mascara is amazing. It gives great length and huge volume. Best of all, it doesn't clump your lashes together, keeps them separated while giving volume and length. I love this mascara and I'm a huge mascara snob. And then there's another one that says, I'm a redhead with very, very light eyelashes and this mascara is easy to apply and stays all day. It actually looks more natural than the others I have used. Does not smudge or wear off during the day, but is very easy to remove at the end of the night. Those are all good things. This is my new favorite. The applicator is very narrow, which is a bit of an adjustment to get used to, but it applies so easily to the ends and the smaller lashes, and that is wonderful to me. And I agree, I love a smaller brush like this one. It reminds me quite a bit of the L'Oreal Telescopic, the original one that has that smaller brush. It also has very short spiky bristles, but I find that those are really good for like catching each lash and combing through clumps. This is a little bit of like a thicker formula. It almost feels sticky going on. So I was concerned about clumps when I first started using it, and also just about weighing my lashes down. But I have to say I was very impressed. It didn't do either one of those things. There are a couple of reviews on here that are negative that say that this clumps. That was not my experience at all. I felt like it applied beautifully, and even if it started to clump, because I like to pack on a ton of coats, the brush just combed them out very easily. I didn't have a problem at all. So I agree with the reviews on here. I really like this a lot. I think it's a great one to check out and it's super affordable. Also from Lottie London are these ombre blushes, and I got these fairly recently and I already am loving them so much. They have 4.7 out of 5 star reviews on the Ulta website. They're currently on sale for $3.47. I hope that means that they're not going away. I hope it's just a sale, but that is an amazing price. And one of the reviews says, why is nobody talking about these? They're so good and last for a while. Colors are gorgeous. 2 do have tiny sparkles if you're not into that. Serene is pale peachy nude with sparkle, and Exposed is a pink matte. Haze is coral with sparkle. Red Hot is a more intense red coral matte. All shades deliver and are worth the buy if they work for your skin tone and preferences. Another one says, Serene is perfect for every day. I I love this blush. It's a perfect nudie color that goes with everything. Orgasm what? I like this way better, and it's so affordable. Definitely recommend. I want to keep buying it over and over. So I have two of the shades that were mentioned, Serene and Exposed, and I agree, these are beautiful blushes. I don't know why I hadn't tried them before. The pan sizes are a little smaller than some of my other powder blushes, but I find that I can still get a brush into these very easily. I love that Serene is the prettiest warm nude kind of peachy color, and then Exposed is the most gorgeous cooler tone pink. Both of these have a little bit more of a satiny finish versus flat matte, and like they said in the reviews, Serene has just the ever so slightly tiniest little pieces of glitter, but I notice them more in a swatch than I actually do on my face. I don't really see them at all. There are only a couple of them. The blush isn't really like loaded with glitter or anything. Mostly what I get from it is just that satin finish with a very slight hint of a sheen, but they're gorgeous and again, very long lasting for a powder blush, so I highly recommend these as well. Moving on, we have the new Flower Beauty Get Real Serum Concealer. This has a 4.6 out of 5 stars on the Ulta website. Even though it's a new product, I am loving this so far. One review says, I have such problems with dry under eyes and fine lines collecting concealer. I do too. And this concealer is both hydrating and smoothing in a way that few of my other concealers are. I think the name Serum Concealer is a little surprising when you use it because the texture is thicker than a concealer, but it goes on thin and provides excellent medium to full coverage and is easily buildable. I highly recommend giving this one a try. For what it's worth, it reminds me a lot of the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. So I haven't tried the Huda Beauty one, so I'm not sure, but I was also expecting this to be more of a serum-like texture, kind of like their Get Real Serum Foundation. This is a little bit thicker than that, but I wouldn't say it's an overly thick concealer. It's probably like a medium weight. I have it in the shade Ivory, and I completely agree with the reviewer who said that it has medium to full coverage. It really has a lot more than I was expecting, and it sits so nicely on my eyes. I have little fine lines underneath, and it doesn't sink into those, it doesn't cake, and for me on my dry skin, this is like a self-setting concealer. You might still have to powder if you have normal to more oily skin, but if you're dry like I am, it's possible that you won't even have to set this because it basically sets itself. It dries down all the way and it doesn't budge, and it just gives the most amazing coverage and looks smooth. So this is quickly becoming one of my favorite concealers. It's right up there with the Revlon Skin Awaken and the Catrice True Skin for me. So this is another really great one to check out if you haven't already. Next up, we have this blush from Keys Soul Care. This is called the Sheer Flush Cheek Tint. It's $22 and it has a 4.8 out of 5 star rating on the Ulta website. And I love this. I don't hear a lot of people talking about these cream blushes, but they are so beautiful. I keep meaning to go back and get more. This is in the shade Grace. This is the one shade that I have. I'm wearing it in the video today, and I love this so much. I think I remember reading that Keys Soul Care is actually owned by e.l.f., and these remind me a little tiny bit of their putty blushes, but I feel like it's more creamy. They just sort of look like the putty blushes once they're dried down. They have that completely powdery finish. They don't disturb your foundation underneath. Like I said, they're just not quite as stiff as the putty blushes. They're very creamy. They just feel a little bit more of a high-end formula, and the reviews definitely seem to agree. One says, this blush is so underrated. I think it deserves to go viral on TikTok. It's so easy to work with and blends really nicely. I've used both my fingers and a brush, and both work perfect. I could say the same as well. It doesn't lift up my makeup underneath like most cream blushes. Another one says, this blush is very creamy to the touch and applies smoothly on the skin. The pigmentation is also great. I can get a good flush to my skin to brighten up my look. That's actually one thing I didn't mention. They are very nicely pigmented, so a little bit goes a long way. I just put maybe like 2 dots on my cheek and blend, and I'm good. So this is an amazing cream blush, and I'm really surprised that it doesn't get more hype. Another product with 4.8 out of 5 stars, almost a perfect rating, is the Shimmer and Strobe Highlighting Palette from Flower Beauty. This is actually a pretty old product. It's been out there for a long time, and it's $15.99 for 3 shades of highlighter. You have a pale champagne, a pink, and a gold. And so many people are raving about this product. One review says, holy shine, Batman. If you've ever wanted to try an Ofra highlight but can't afford the price point, try this. It's so smooth and very blinding. I'm just floored by the quality quality. It doesn't accentuate my texture, or not as much as others do. It is beautiful, just wow. Another one says, this highlighting palette is amazing for the price. The quality is as good as highlighters 4 times the price. If you want a blinding highlight, look no more. You have a pearl shade, a pink shade, and a gold shade. All of the basics that would work for all types. The powder is smooth, highly pigmented, buildable, and stays on all day. It actually reminds me of my $40 MAC Hyper Real Glow palette. I own every single highlighter under the sun, and this is one that I reach for over and over again. So I definitely agree with the reviews. I'll never forget when this came out back in, I think it was like 2016, 2017, how amazed I was when I first touched these powders, just how soft they are. It was at that time when highlighters were just so big and everybody was talking about Becca Champagne Pop, and these came out, and it was just such a drugstore gem at an affordable price that really could compete with those Becca highlighters, and it was even smoother than those. I felt like, in my opinion, it's just an absolutely stunning formula, the smoothest highlighters I own hands down, and like the reviews said, it seems like it is worth far more than the price they're charging for it. So I know a lot of people talked about this when it first came out, but I don't really hear any hype around it anymore, which is what happens in the beauty industry. We're always getting hit with new products and we forget about the old stuff, but I wanted to mention this one again because these are some of the nicest highlighters in my collection. Next up, we have the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. I have mine in the shade Light, and this has 4.7 out of 5 stars on the Ulta website. It's $11.99, and people just rave about this one. This review says, best bronzer in the drugstore. I bought this bronzer along with other items in the Lumi line to test. This bronzer has become my favorite go-to bronzer. It lasts a long time on the skin, not patchy. It's not too cool or too warm. It's the perfect shade for my complexion. I picked it up in the shade medium. I'm so happy to have it in my collection. Another one says, I have fair light skin with a neutral undertone. The light shade is fantastic for me. The only con, which will never prevent repurchase for me personally, is that the packaging breaks every time. This product does not ship well or travel well in general. I only repurchase to not have to literally wrap a rubber band around it anymore, LOL. That said, you do get a ton of product, and it's my favorite bronzer of all time. So despite the packaging issue, she still gave it 5 stars, and I personally have not had that problem with this bronzer. I mean, it is a very large size, and the hinge that's holding the top on is kind of on the smaller side for, I think, the size of the package itself. But I don't know, I've had mine well over a year and it's still fine. But what I love about this one is the light shade in particular is a bit more on the cool tone side. And I love a cool tone bronzer for me because I have cooler pink undertone skin. So I think this color just looks really, really natural on me. And also it has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's not a flat matte, but it's also not glittery or sparkly. So I like the satiny sheen that it has because it gives my face a little bit of dimension and it helps my dry skin to not look so dull. Also, I love the big pan size because I can take a larger brush and use this for like body bronzing. If I want to do like my shoulders or even on my legs, sometimes I'll use a powder bronzer. It's just quicker and easier than using self tanner. So all in all, this is an awesome bronzer. Nobody ever talks about it anymore, but again, it's one of those older products that's been around forever. So I think it's not on a lot of people's minds, but it just has a soft, silky feel. And like I said, the color is great. Another product I don't hear a lot of hype about are these Man-Eater Blush and Glow Cheek Plumps from Tarte. So these have 4.7 out of 5 stars on the Ulta website, and they're $27 each, so they're a little bit more on the expensive side, but I love these so much. They come in a big oversized tube, and they have like a chunky doe foot applicator to apply the product with, and I really love the soft, silky texture of these. They're a very thin, almost serum-like formula, but they pack a punch as far as pigmentation goes. I only have to put 1 or 2 dots on my cheek and blend it out, and I really don't need to keep adding more. They also dry down completely to a powder finish, so they don't stay sticky or greasy feeling on your cheeks. And while they do have a little bit of glow, I don't think that these are overly glowy. I wouldn't say that they're as glowy as the Charlotte Tilbury light wands. Those come off a little bit more almost not glittery, but they just have a bit more glow than these do. These are just a very subtle, very natural glow. So if you like the idea of the Charlotte Tilbury, but you don't want something quite as glowy, I think these are amazing. And one of the 5-star reviews says that these are beginner friendly. I was scared to try a liquid blush, but honestly, start off light-handed and you can build up the color. I love the colors as well. Sometimes I will mix them and it looks stunning. I get so many compliments. And then this other one says, love, love, love this blush. Even though it's around the same price as Charlotte Tilbury and Rare Beauty, I would say this is a great dupe and kind of a mix between the two. Same glow as the Charlotte Tilbury, same super pigmented and ease of use as Rare Beauty. I have medium skin and the pink is still bright enough. I really only need 1 or 2 small dots, perfect for cold girl makeup looks. So I would kind of disagree with a couple of things here. The first one being it's around the same price as the Charlotte Tilbury and Rare Beauty. Those are actually very different prices. The Rare Beauty are like $23, I think. The Charlotte Tilbury are $42. These are $27, so they're only a couple of dollars more than the Rare Beauty. I think they're much cheaper than the Charlotte Tilbury ones. And also this person said that they have the same glow as Charlotte Tilbury, and again, I think these are a little bit more subtle. They do give you a glow, just not quite as much. So anyway, I think these are an awesome liquid blush, and I kind of want to pick up more shades. I think at the moment, like at the time that I'm filming this video, Tarte's having a 30% off site-wide sale, so I might pick up another one just to add to my collection. Also from Tarte, I wanted to mention the Best Bud lip balms. I've talked about these quite a bit on my channel, but not in a while, and I know I do have some newer viewers that might not have heard me talk about them. So these have 4.6 out of 5 stars, and they do come in these cute little flower pots, but this lip balm is so fantastic. I've just bought this on a whim one time in Ulta, and I was just shocked by how much I love the formula. I ended up going back. I think I bought the pink one originally, and I wanted to use it at night because it hands down beat my Laneige lip mask that I was using. So then I went back and got the clear one to wear at night, and I've never looked back. I've repurchased both colors once already, and I will definitely continue to rebuy these as long as they make them. First of all, they have an incredible scent that smells like cake batter. It's so good. I was a little bit worried when I saw the cap that they were going to smell like rose or flowers, but they smell so amazing. They also have a very thick texture. There are a few reviews here that were on the negative side that said that these feel sticky. I don't feel like they're sticky, but they're just really thick and they have a cushiony texture. I like the thickness because they literally stay on the entire night. I put it on before I go to bed. I wake up in the morning and it's still there. So it doesn't really sink into your lips, but it has like this protective quality that just keeps your lips feeling so moisturized and supple. And I'll show you guys a before and after that I took. My lips generally look very wrinkled, not necessarily because they're dry, but I just have a lot of lines in my lips. I always have. But when I put this on, immediately they look so much smoother. This isn't even after time. This is like immediately after application. This is what it looks like. And when I wake up in the morning after wearing it all night, it looks even better. And I also love the rosy colored one just for every day. It just kind of adds a little bit of color to your lips, like a Your Lips But Better type of a shade. And the reviews definitely seem to agree. One says, new favorite. I love the consistency of this lip mask. It's thicker than the Laneige sleeping mask and it's my new favorite. Peony smells like frosting and cupcakes, although no flavor. Small amount of product, but definitely moisturizes the lips longer than any other mask or balm that I've tried. And by the way, Peony is the clear one, but Rose, which is the tinted one, smells exactly the same. So again, if you're interested and you're watching this video when it comes out, I would definitely check the Tarte website. 30% off is a great deal. I think these are only around 15 bucks to begin with, so they're not super expensive item. And then with the 30% off, they'll be more like a drugstore price lip balm, so definitely check these out. I also wanted to talk about the eyeshadow palette that I'm wearing today, and that is the Nabla Side by Side. I think Nabla in general doesn't get talked about a lot in the beauty community, but this palette in particular has been one of my favorite neutral palettes for such a long time, and it has 4.8 out of 5 stars on the Ulta website, so a lot of people definitely agree with that. I think Nabla just has such an incredible formula, and I love this palette because it has a great mix of warm tone neutrals, and it also has this row of cool tones on the bottom, which is what I'm wearing on my eyes today. I stuck with these kind of slate gray colors, and I think they're just so beautiful. I think there are definitely more warm tones in this palette than anything else, but I like the versatility that comes with those cool tones, and I also like how some of the warm shades are more rosy, some are more golden, so there's just a lot to play with in here, and you can get very different looks with just this one palette. It's not like every look is going to come out the same, which I really love. Also, the formula is incredible. Nabla always wows me with their formula. Their matte shades have this really velvety feel, and there are a few different types of shimmers in this palette. Some are really creamy and buttery feeling, almost like a cream shadow. And then there are 2 shades in the palette that feel a little bit more like toppers. They're a little bit drier and a little more glittery. And those are Body and Soul right here. And one of my favorites, Better Society. I like to put this one just on top of another shadow to amp it up, or you can use it alone, but it's just going to be a little bit more sheer if you apply it by itself. Either way, this palette is so stunning, and the top review here says, my favorite nude palette. This is my go-to nude palette, especially in the cooler months when you can get away with more shimmer and a smokier look. That said, you can definitely do a basic no makeup nude look with this palette too. The black is great as a liner and doesn't fade. Can't go wrong with this one. Another person says, so beautiful, blends like a dream, and has all the colors I need for a smoky eye. So yeah, I definitely think you can get mostly smoky looks out of this one, but you can also go lighter as well. It just has so much versatility. So anyway, that's all I have for today's video. If you'd like to see one like this again, definitely let me know. There are so many 5-star products that I've seen on the Ulta and Sephora websites that just people are not talking about for some reason. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this down below. Are any of these products your favorites, or do you disagree? Are you thinking about trying anything? I'd love to hear your thoughts as always down in the comments. And also, if you have some extra time, I'll go ahead and put my hidden gems playlist right here. These are all videos about underrated products and things that nobody talks about. Also, if you are new here and you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button before you go. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.